In a recent interview talking about his history with comic book films, the former Batman and Daredevil himself, Ben Affleck, reflects on his time as Daredevil, and he specifically cites the disappointment in the film, which is weird because it's a good film. So yeah, before we got Daredevil over with Netflix and Marvel Studios, we of course had Daredevil from Fox, which is a interesting film when you look back at the history of comic book films from the early 2000s and how, the genre just exploded and it was everywhere. We were getting a ton of comic book films back in the day, but people seem to forget just how many we were getting. Among these was of course Fox putting out X-Men, and of course Daredevil and Elektra. And when it comes to Daredevil, it was a very, very interesting film, to say the least. The theatrical cut, while not bad, the director's cut, far better. And of course it starred Ben Affleck, who previously talked about the fact that he took the job on because he figured, well, I'm never going to get to play Batman, so this is the closest I'm going to get to it. And recently in an interview, that was brought up again, and GQ asked him about his time as Daredevil because, hey, Daredevil is back in live action, part of Marvel Studios and all that. And here's what Affleck said, and I quote, "I loved the comic book. I loved working with Michael Clark Duncan, Colin Farrell, and Jen Garner. It wasn't the adaptation that ultimately I thought wasn't the best version of what it could have been. And it was disappointing." End quote. Now, the sad part to me here is Ben Affleck talking about this whole scenario and how he feels like he's part to blame for the failure of the Snyderverse and the DCEU Batman and his Daredevil film not taking off, which I think is absolutely bizarre because he was a great Batman. He was also a great Matt Murdock Daredevil, but everything coming together just wasn't a thing for either of the characters he played. And that's unfortunate that he seems to constantly blame himself, because again, I would be willing to put up Daredevil as the best second tier Marvel film, or even Marvel or DC film from 2000 to like 2007, 2008. What I mean by that is you obviously have X-Men 2 and Spider-Man 2. But right underneath that, I would put Daredevil. It's a good film. And it's far better than the Fantastic Four films, or the Ghost Rider, or countless other ones. Superman Returns, for example. So, in hindsight, I get what Matt Murdock, in this instance, Daredevil himself, Ben Affleck, is saying, but I gotta disagree with him. The film is not as bad as he makes it out to be. And while everybody is now glazing Shrek Hulk from Ang Lee, you should all go watch Daredevil and glaze that, because that's actually an underrated comic book film that's good. Unlike Hulk fights poodles. Thank you for checking out that video, and thank you for your continued support. Feel free to like, share, subscribe, do whatever you will, and if you're so inclined and would like some additional content from us, which includes unfiltered content and bonus discussions, we do offer exclusively in our member section. We hope to see you there. So thank you for watching, and have a good one.